Good evening. We will call the June 1st meeting of the Common Council to order. I will ask our clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Keene.
Here.
Lysak.
Here.
Reinke.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
Stefanski.
Here.
Tenorio.
Here.
Vitale.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Grisham.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
10 present.
We have a quorum. Please rise if you are able and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led this evening by Alderperson Keene.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have no public hearings this evening under item D, so I will move directly to item E, which is citizen participation. This is where residents may provide information to the members of the Common Council during this 30-minute period. We ask that you announce your name and your address prior to addressing us, sign in at the podium, and please limit your comments to a statement of no more than 5 minutes. We cannot take action on these items because they are not technically on our agenda, and we cannot enter into discussions. We can only listen, which is a good thing for government to do. Is there anybody that wishes to address the council under citizen participation this evening?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Philip A. Snyder. My address is 800 South 109th Street in the wonderful city of West Dallas. I've been a resident in my home for over 40 years. I did not buy a house on a dead-end street. I do not appreciate the barricades, the concrete barriers on the north end at Theodore Trecker, which is a deter for cruisers. People on the street who had a problem with that in the past have sold or moved out and aren't there, and I would wish that my alderperson, whatever, that you would relook at this. For the 8 hours that the cruisers might be there, I live on a dead-end street for 168 hours a week, and I am not the only one on the block that does not appreciate those. It's a real deterrent to get out to Highway 100 and cross. Have to go around the block to get to Theodore Trecker to use the lights. And obviously it's a stop sign and crossing that Walker. It would be preferred at the lights, and it's out of the way to do that. And again, for the 7 or 8 hours that the cruisers are there, the barriers are up 168 hours a week.
We can try to take a look at that. Thank you. Is there anybody else wishes to address the council under citizen participation this evening?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, seeing none, we will close citizen participation and we will move to item F. Our standing committees will be meeting during recess. Those room numbers are listed on page 1 of your agendas. Moving to item G, the mayor's report. One quick thing I wanted to talk about, there was a news story on Channel 6 today that seemed to indicate that, and maybe it was just a poor word selection, but it seemed to indicate that the city of West Dallas was going to be dictating how many attendees could go to the Wisconsin State Fair. And it generated a few phone calls from me. I did call the news director at Channel 6, and he said that it was scheduled to rerun around 4 o'clock. And I did not catch it if it did, but he was going to try to clarify that language, that the number of attendees that are allowed to go to the State Fair is not a City of West Dallas decision. It was an item on our agenda tonight that involves the traffic control and the crowd control grants we get from the State Fair to deal with people that are entering and leaving the State Fair, and that includes no left turn signs and barricades and things of that nature. So if anybody's watching and thinks that we are going to be telling the State Fair how many attendees they can have, we aren't and we can't. So second thing I want to mention in my mayor's report is the Memorial Day celebration yesterday. I want to thank everybody who put that on. We had an incredibly good turnout, and there were some very good remarks and tributes paid to those that paid the ultimate sacrifice. I want to thank Alderman Rote and Caitlin and the Tanner Paul Post, as well as the Color Guard. I want to thank Phil Laspisa for playing taps at the end of the ceremony. It was a really great community event, and it was really great to see people out again And lastly, as a lot of you know, June is Pride Month, and I have declared it so in the city of West Allis as we continue to foster a culture of acceptance in this community and recognize equality and freedom for everyone. That does conclude the mayor's report this evening. Do we have any alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Weigel.
just one quick note. I've mentioned here in the past that I'm always very happy when I see a business in our community that switches from being a tenant to being a landlord. And I can report that Double B's Barbecue, Mark Timber and his crew over there, the open sign is on now in his new location, which is directly adjacent to the space that he is renting. So that's another business that's been doing business in our community for quite a few years and has made the commitment and has the faith in our community and switched from being a tenant to a landlord. He bought his building, remodeled it, and the open sign is on right now. I can't imagine they changed the menu much because the menu is pretty good already, but their new space is done and open. So thank you.
Any other alderpersons' reports?
Mayor Devine, I move for approval of the minutes of the May 18th, 2021 Common Council meeting.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any changes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes are approved. We will move to item J, the Public Works Committee. I'll ask the clerk to read that out.
Mayor, we're going to send number 2 back to committee due to committee chairman error.
What'd you do?
We just voted on the amendment and not the resolution as amended.
Okay,
So we have to just tweak it a bit.
fair enough.
I knew you'd understand.
Mr. Mayor,
I'm an understanding mayor, yes. Cale?
just make sure to announce where Public Works will be meeting during the recess.
Where would you like to meet, Mr. Chair?
We are in 128.
Is 128 available? That's better sound.
Okay, so Public Works will be meeting during recess, also in room 128. Then we'll move to item K, the consent agenda. Are there any items to be pulled out for separate action?
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Stefanski.
I'd like to request that item 13 be pulled and sent to advisory committee.
Okay,
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Rote.
Item 7 to Administration and Finance, and item 8 to Public Works, if I may.
Okay,
Mayor Devine,
one sec. Alderperson Grisham.
items 17 and 18, please refer to License and Health.
Okay, anything else? All right, then
Mayor?
on items.
Mr. Mayor,
Oh,
just to proceed to make sure it's correct, you could just simply say those items will be referred without objection, because a referral technically should be a motion approved by the council.
oh, I was going to take the balance first and then do those, but I'll do that first. Is there any objection to referring those to the appropriate committees? Then so ordered. Thank you. And then on the balance,
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move for approval of the consent agenda with the exception of items 7, 8, 13, 17, and 18 as presented on the written documentation.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Alderperson Keene. Lysick.
Aye.
Reinke. Rote.
Aye.
Stefanski.
Aye.
Tenorio.
Aye.
Vitale. Weigel.
Aye.
Grisham.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
10 in favor, 0 opposed.
Motion carries.
Mayor Devine.
Items are approved. Alderman Lysick.
I move that we stand in recess until conclusion of the committee meetings.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. We are in recess.